Well, hello there, rockers and reprobates. It's us, me and my big Scouse mate on the Scouser and the Scot. And we've another fantastic guest tonight, but I'll let my big Scouse mate introduce him. Ian, over to you.
So, hello everyone. This is an interesting one for myself as well. I've seen a few bits from a few good friends of ours, and I can only say thank you very much for Nikos for joining us tonight to discuss his new project, all the audio things. Looking forward to hearing about it. Looking forward to try and understand what is it and why we need to join it and join on the bandwagon. So, Nikos, welcome to the Scouser and the Scot. Hope you're doing well, bud. How are you keeping?
Hi, both. Thanks for the invitation. First of all, yeah, it's been very interesting. To be fair, I've been very busy with the platform, all the audio things, as you might know already. But yeah, overall, really good. Very happy to be here, ready to have a really nice discussion.
Okay, so
Where are
we,
you
we
actually based, Nikos?
Sorry.
Where do you live? Where are you based?
Oh, yes. I just live in between Manchester and Burnley.
All right.
There's
I
a
thought you were going to say,
village
I thought you were
in
going to say
between.
Greece or Cyprus or somewhere like that, and then you come and hit us with Bloody Berry.
No, I used to live in Greece, obviously, but I moved here in 2015.
All right.
But the idea was to move into the UK and work closely with my favorite artists because most of them were like UK based, and that drove that ambition essentially to move countries. And since then, I just liked it and stayed.
So who
so
was your favorite artist you wanted to work with?
Steven Wilson. So yeah, hasn't happened yet, but
loads of
it's
time,
hopefully that's in
loads
the
of time.
pipeline. Yeah,
So
one day.
tell us a little bit about yourself, Nikos. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, we can see some guitars in the back, a drum kit in the back, and stuff like that. Before we talk about your platform, let's talk about you as a musician as well, because obviously, this is we've got to get the understanding of the history of yourself. So let's talk about you. What made you start music?
Yeah, 100%. So I had a friend who was playing the drums when I was a kid, as an adult, and I just started playing as well, and then that started as a silly kind of hobby, let's say so, and then it evolved into something different. As I was playing the drums, then we had a band in Greece, in Athens, and we used to play together. We toured all around Athens and Greece as well. And but in the process of playing the drums, I was really good with computers as well, and I really liked recording stuff and producing something out of it. And then that brought the other side of me, which was like sound engineering, recording, mixing, mastering, all these kind of things. And further down the line, I think I'm more aligned to be a sound engineer rather than a musician, to be fair.
Okay.
But I've been playing the drums for years, a little bit of guitar, a little bit of bass, and right these days I just like to compose in my own home studio, a little bit of cinematic and rock kind of blended music. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my background. My journey started back in 2002 with drums, and 2007 I think with professional sound engineering. So I've been in the industry for quite some years now.
Okay. So obviously you've got your heart set on sound engineering as well, which is I think every musician likes to dabble, likes to try the hand, and like if you anyone who plays an instrument will try to record at some point and to understand. So can you give us a little bit of a background on that side of things and what you've done in the past as well, like and how you've have you achieved anything yourself?
Um, yeah. So from a sound engineering side, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been focusing both on live sound and studio sound, but mostly on live sound after I moved into the UK because I didn't have the network, or the I didn't have my own house back then as well, so it was very difficult to record in an apartment. So I was focusing on a live kind of environment. So I started working with bands, quite successful indie bands actually. Diamond Days from Liverpool, if you know
Oh
them.
yeah.
Um, Winter Quick from Exeter, and most recently I was working before COVID and a little bit after COVID with Call Me Amore. Some of the members used to be in Liverpool. Now they are in the Isle of Man. So we've done a lot of UK tours with all these bands, and we also did an EU tour with Call Me Amore. We've supported Yumi at Six, Pop Evil, The Hara, quite up and coming bands. We've done things together. And then I've done recordings for Diamond Days as well, other artists. I've done mixing for other people as well, and mastering as well. So it's been a very nice, journey. And yeah, on the freelance side, away from the bands, I've also been working with some really big, industry like audio providers that provide audio for festivals and stuff like that. So I've done the Blue Dot Festival quite a few times. I've done Manchester Pride. I've done Manchester Day. I've done actually. No, I think I haven't done Manchester Pride. I think it was Manchester Day. So fair enough. I've worked in Albert Hall as well in Manchester
Oh,
for a
okay.
few nights there. So big venues like 3, 4K capacity essentially.
I've got to
And
ask you.
that's
I've got to
yeah,
ask
go on.
you this. Why are you talking about it? Obviously, you've done festivals, you've done outdoor festivals, you've done
Yeah.
indoor ones, and you've done the Albert Hall in Manchester. Yeah. What is the how difficult is it to vary from outdoor to indoor to outdoor and vary like fluctuating the sound?
Yeah. So I think it's easier to do sound in an open space, outdoors environments.
Really?
You've got I think you've got other challenges there, like with the suppression of the sound, and you're in a small room. But the problem you've got with indoors, I think, from my opinion, is that every room is different. It's fine if you go to your own venue, but if you go and play in different venues every night, like we did when touring, it's more difficult because, one day you're in a venue that's like full concrete, like loads of reflections. Then you
Mm.
go to another one, it's like full brick. Then the other one's like full wood. Another one is like a mix of something, you know what I mean? So the sound, the reflections change. And if the reflections change, the sound on the stage changes. And if the sound on the stage changes, then the musicians play differently. And if they play differently, the front of house sounds different. So, you know, there's a complication of factors there, I think, and that's why I think I prefer the outdoors kind of environment to play with. Less feedback as well if you have to push the PA or the vocals for whatever reason. So yeah,
So one last question before we go on to why you've come on today. If there is anyone
sure.
who's interested in sound engineering, becoming a professional sound engineer, etc., and following in your footsteps, what courses, what advice would you give anyone?
Horses. Wow, that is a difficult question. I think the first of all is the mentality, and then it is the network. So I would definitely suggest to someone to go and like sign up for a university or college in sound engineering. But that would be, I'm pretty sure they will be able to acquire knowledge at the back of it. But the majority of the reason I'm saying that is because of networking. I think it's very important in our industry to be able to make connections with the right people. And I think when you're in the beginning of your career and you don't have a network, that
Mm.
is, a really good tool to do that. And then you expand from there because your instructors or your teachers or your mentors maybe they will be able to push you to the direction you want to be in terms of jobs and what you want to do in the industry. And then through there you'll meet other people and then you'll go further down the line. If you don't want to go through the college like route, you can do what I did. Coming here from a different country, having done my studies already in Greece in sound engineering and post-production, I moved into the UK. I had no one, literally no one. I was just going out into gigs. I printed out some business cards and I was like, look, I'm doing this. Are you interested? And then, I formed some friendships, some people, some contacts. Um, I went to some networking events as well that was happening back then from the Sonder Festival, I think,
Yep.
called Manchester Music Industry Networking Events. Again, handed out a lot of cards there, and that put me into the industry. Um, but if you're starting now, you need to have someone to back you up, because to be honest, I've done so many things. I had support along the way. It's not like I did it myself. You know what I mean? And I will
Mhm.
never say I did that, because no one is like, succeeding in things by themselves. They all have like some kind of support in the background.
That's cool.
That would be my two pennies.
But I think the one thing is we say the same about to young musicians as well. If they're wanting to get gigs and that, is go to other bands' gigs in their hometown, home city, talk to the people that run the venues, talk to the sound engineers, talk to other bands, stay for the whole gig, etc. Because in this industry, it is all about making the right connections, and you're right. But I'd like to just ask a question before we go into all the audio things. Right, so over the years, who are your favorite bands or artists that you personally like to listen to?
They have changed throughout the years. When I was a kid, my favorite bands were like Deep Purple, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, all the classic rock stuff. Then I moved a little bit more into prog rock. So Porcupine Tree, Carnival, Leprous, and obviously Steven Wilson. Um, I do love some post rock as well. If you know, I mean, you probably won't know them, but there's a fantastic Greek post rock band called We Own the Sky. And probably they are some of my favorites. The Void is really good as well, independent
Mm,
artist from Exeter.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so yeah, essentially a lot of and PG Lost, of course. I couldn't have not mentioned them, but yeah, so post rock, progressive rock, this kind of style.
Is that how you met Matt Jones?
No,
Because
actually,
he's prog
I
because
think
Twisted Illusion are prog rock, weren't they?
he
Massive.
is, but I met Matt in Manchester Rebellion because his band Twisted Illusion were supporting some friends of mine that were
Ah,
actually
right.
touring the UK. So they
Right,
had
that's
local
cool.
support, and Matt was their support. So that's how I met him.
I'm
Okay, cool.
mentioning this at this point because Matt is somebody that Ian and I has interviewed on 4 occasions on this show. He's a brilliant guy to talk to, and he was supposed to be here tonight until he binned us off
Yeah.
to go to a gig. So Matt, you watching? You're dead to us now, mate. You'll never ever get back on our show. Okay, fuck off.
Yeah. Till
So
till next week anyway, Matt.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, until next week, and then we'll give you a call again if you can fit us in among your 730 gigs that you do a year
Yeah.
now. So I'm mentioning that as well because Matt is also involved with you in the very thing that we're here to really talk about, which is your all the audio things. So the floor is yours, Nikos. Tell us all about it. But first of all, tell us about it, but then realistically, why you think it's needed. What made you come up with
Yes.
this concept?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's take this from the beginning, okay? Um, I'm gonna start with how the idea came to mind, and I'll go back then deeper into what it is and why I think we need it. So, like I mentioned earlier, I had a band in Greece, and we were playing music back then, and it was 2012, I believe, when we wanted to make our own video clip with a videographer, full-blown production, everything. Um, the problem we had back then was that obviously Facebook was a new thing, social media were not really a thing, the technology wasn't great as well. So I think we're back in 3G. I don't know if the young people will remember 3G right now. You know what I mean? Um, and and overall, the way the ways and the capabilities that were there on the internet to connect with people weren't as great as they are today. And as we were looking for professionals to help us, through this band's journey, not, musicians by definition, but other professionals within the industry, we just couldn't find them. It was very, very difficult to find someone to collaborate with, because if we met someone in person, yes, maybe we had someone there that, they were a videographer, for example, but we didn't really, not I wouldn't say we didn't like their work, but it wasn't like the thing we were looking for, if that makes sense. So we didn't have this kind of broad kind of options based on what we had built at the time. So my idea was, why isn't there, a website that can bring together any kind of professionals within the music industry that can work together, even if someone is not part of the music industry, like a graphic designer, they might do, graphic design covers for bands. That is part of the industry, even though the actual occupation is not. So why is not there like a website that allows people to network and collaborate on projects like that? And that was the idea. So the idea happened back then in 2012. And back then there was some other things that stopped me from doing it. So the first of all was that I was poor. Not that I'm rich now, but I'm doing much better. So I'm able to put some money into this to make it happen. Second of that was that the technology wasn't really there. Like I said, 3G, slow broadband connections. It would be a bit difficult, especially if we're going to work with big data and big files essentially. And then the third way was the third reason why this didn't go ahead was because the technology from a programming perspective was not again as accessible to standard people, right? So it was very difficult to code back then. The programming languages were not as I can say that streamlined maybe as they are today. So it was a bit, you needed more knowledge before you could actually code anything. And although I was like, I've got a degree in computers and networks, I wasn't able to code to that extent itself. Yeah, and then throughout the years when I was in Greece and after I moved here, I was trying to find web developers to work with and see if we can do this thing together as a founder, a co-founder. And no one wanted to be a part of it unless they were being paid and having a salary. So the years passed. We had COVID, obviously. The industry was severely, I must say, damaged because of, the COVID repercussions. And I felt like this is actually needed because the years are passing and no one is making this thing, you know. So back in 2023, I started looking again into technologies and I was looking to find out a way to build it myself. See what is out there, how the technology has changed, and what I can bring onto the table that I can use myself as Nikos, and then bring in a developer to help me expand what I've built. And that's what actually happened. So since 2023, I've been tinkering with this little by little, and I've been building a platform. And then earlier this year, I decided to bring in Elliot, which is our developer. And then I also decided to bring in Matt very early in the journey because I want him to be our community leader because I know what his passion for music is and how he wants people to be able to collaborate.
Yeah.
And essentially, yeah, that's how all the audio things became a thing. But yeah, so before I move into what all of the audio things is, do you have any questions on that journey so far?
No, that makes absolutely perfect sense. It's like, to be perfectly honest, for you to stick with a project takes dedication. And like everything within the music industry, if you're in a band, if you want to learn something, it takes time. And people have got to understand. You'll most probably understand this as well, Nikos, more than anyone. You will fail. You will succeed. You've got to learn by your mistakes. you've got to learn that even if you get knocked down, you've got to get back up. And as you said,
100%.
everything like one of the things that you said there is COVID. The
Yeah.
amount of damage it did to the music industry, and still does, in my opinion. I think a lot of people, a lot of musicians have quit. A lot of
Yeah.
venues have closed. A lot of recording studios have closed. A lot of people with a lot of good skills have closed, and then a new challenge has come on, and I'm sure you'll understand this next bit as well, which is AI. AI
Yeah.
has come in and it's caused more jobs to go because people are using that home recordings and bits and pieces. But we've got to live, we've got to learn, we've got to adapt. So I for you to stick with it, hats off to you, mate. Hats off to you, like you know what I mean. It's
Mm.
it's a challenge, and I am really excited for you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do with this platform. So if you're ready and you want to go in for, give us a little bit more information about it because I want to get to the crux of it now and find out what is it for a little musician like myself, or like as I say, a seasoned pro, a professional, like
Yeah.
tell us all about it now, like you know what I mean, that what we can expect to do on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Further down the conversation, we can also touch on the AI aspect of
Yeah,
it
definitely.
and the grassroots venues and the musicians as well, because I've got ideas behind that as well for the platform. So, what is all the audio things? So essentially, we want to build a space where we can bring in musicians to be able to collaborate with audio professionals. And these audio professionals and musicians, in turn, to be able to collaborate with anyone that has anything to do within the music industry. Okay. So the platform itself has got a Facebook feel, let's say so, right? It has a similar layout when you first log in from your desktop computer or your mobile browser, and it gives you, your timeline. You can see updates from other people in it, and we've built quite a few features in there that we think are going to be very beneficial for anyone that joins, either as a musician or as a professional or, whatever role their role is within the music industry. Right now, we've got, I think, 70 plus roles to choose from. So we've covered a lot of things from makeup artists for video clips, from prop designers for, like for example, a sleep token mask, for example, you might want to have a prop designer to work with you. Musicians, videographers, whatever. And the idea is you go onto the platform and you're like, right, I'm a band and I want to work with a director. What directors do I have here on the platform? And then you just you filter by directors and you can see, oh, this guy is from London. I like this guy. Oh, this guy is from Sweden, but I like his style. His style is exactly what I want. You make the connection, you speak with the director from Sweden. The guy is like, yeah, I can do this for you. I can do either local shots here in Sweden, or we can arrange, something in London. I can fly, there. And they're like, yeah, fair. Let's do something in London, right? And then you're like, I want a couple of dancers on my video, but they do music videos. Can I find them? You look on the platform for dancers in London, you see, oh, Nikos is a dancer, Matt is a dancer. Imagine that. But yeah, so you
Yeah.
can find these people, and then within the platform, you've got the ability to create your own group for the project you're working on and start, project manage the whole thing on the platform.
Okay.
And then,
That's,
when you're done,
so it's just a question. So it's like a social media version of LinkedIn,
mhm,
Yes.
but more
yeah,
specifically, and I like that. I love the idea. It's cool. So my next question is on that is how do you, or is there any vetting process? So like when you're accepting these, so obviously at some point this is going to go with a subscription because it's natural thing to do is to make it a subscription thing. So
Yeah.
how have you got a process in place for quality control, making sure that everybody that's on there is actually who they say they are and doing what and are capable of doing what they need to do? So is there any proof there? That's what I mean.
Yes. So at the current stage, everyone that goes into the platform, they have submitted a request and they tell us what they do in the music industry.
Hmm.
Because it's still the very fair few, early stages of the
Yeah.
platform, we pretty much know everyone that is on the platform right now. So I know these people, and they're all verified because we simply know who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know these people are legit people. Um, as we go into the closed beta, these people, including yourself, because you are on the platform, you will get the ability to invite your own contacts, right? And
Mm.
that's where the platform will start to grow. These people, unfortunately, we won't be able to verify them immediately.
Mm.
But then as we grow, there's going to be a subscription tier. So whoever pays then will be able to be a member of the platform, not necessarily by invite. They will be able to register directly from the landing page. Um, but or when we get to that point, we're going to be looking into solutions to introduce automatic verification. So people will be able to, verify themselves with a selfie and say, okay, that's Nikos, that's his face. So you are
Mm.
verified. Now, in terms of business credentials, that is the tricky bit.
Yeah.
If let's say I am a fantastic sound engineer, I've got like all these accreditations and reviews and whatever, and I work with you, John, and I don't do the job right, or I'm rude to you, or my communication skills are terrible, or I say I deliver today and instead I deliver in a month, you know what I mean? Or you will be able to get onto the platform of that people's profile and review it.
Ah, right. That's
Okay.
cool. That's
So
cool.
yeah, so eventually these people will drop down in rating onto the platform, and that means they will be less likely to be picked again from someone to work with.
Mm.
Now, this has got some obviously caveats. So, for example, someone might do might put in a malicious review for someone, which is not true.
Mm.
So we're going to have
Like a competitor. Like a competitor
yeah,
might do that, yeah.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, in that case, obviously we'll review that and we will assess that because we plan as we grow to have someone that does all that admin as well onto the platform. Um, but before we get to that stage, that's where I don't want the platform to get. Because you're going to be paying to be on the platform, I really, really hope that we will attract people that actually want to do the job and they are genuine and they are
Mm.
passionate about what they're doing. The, and that's the one of the reasons we want to put the paywall there. Well, one is obviously to cover the infrastructure costs because that's gonna be a lot further down the
Mm.
line. But at the same time, we don't want the platform to be free and then everyone joins,
Yeah.
and they are not like delivering what we need really in the music industry. And that's the idea behind it. Um, the paywall as well will make sure that no scammers are there, no bots, no spamming will like be there. We will have like a positive kind of attitude. So we want people to collaborate. And if you don't want to say something, just don't say it. You don't need to be negative on the platform.
What
Um,
what a
yeah, sorry.
particular like
Last
what
thing I was
sorry.
gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah,
last
on you
thing I
go,
was gonna
Nico,
say on
sorry.
that is we've got a reporting mechanism as well. So if you go onto the platform and you start swearing on Matt, for example, and five other people see it and they report you, your account automatically will be banned, and then we will get a request, and it will tell us, oh, Craig was banned because they swore on someone, and then we will have to review that to understand what happened. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
we don't want this to become like Facebook, where people are like,
Mm.
you can express your opinion, obviously, as long as you do that politely and
Yeah.
in a common sense way. That makes absolute sense. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to build. Yeah, a safe community that is nurturing what people have to offer, really, rather than criticize it.
I must admit, what I like as well is the fact that you've gone outside of the norm, where you're talking dancers and things like that. Because, like, I'll give you an example. So I work with half a dozen bands, and one of the bands is a kind of alt rock, synth rock, a band called Pylon Poets, and they brought out an album in the summer, and there was a particular track there that I wanted to be made almost into a dance track, and I was putting it out everywhere, But because I come from a rock metal background, as does Ian, primarily, we just couldn't find the right people, like remixers, or I didn't really know where to go, and I asked a lot of people, and neither did anybody else. And then if you end up talking to somebody that's a DJ or a remixer, they kind of don't know quite what you're wanting, because it's like we're talking a different language. So
Yeah,
that in your platform, if that was it, well, it will be able to do that. I think that's brilliant. So that you could say, look, I'm in a heavy metal band, but I want somebody that can play. I want somebody that can play the euphonium because I've got this track where I think it needs to be on it. Let's find somebody that can play that, as an example, or a steel guitar in a disco song kind of style, whatever. But I think
correct.
that's what I particularly like about it, Nikos.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? It's not just about networking. We want really the people to share the knowledge. So when you were talking about, a sound engineer, how they start their career earlier, we want people, that they're new starting, young people, curious people to be on there and then be guided by the people that got more experience.
Mm,
Or the young people might want to share their experiences within the industry, which more like senior people might not even know that
mm,
this thing is happening and then take action. Eventually, you've got the ability to have groups, not just for projects, but also for conversations. We've got also integrated forum facilities, so you can have more, structured and in-depth discussions about a lot of things. We've got loads of topics, and we want to add more. Um, and we also have got like a centralized blog, so you can become a writer, we call them, onto the platform, which will allow you to create your own blog posts. Which will appear on your profile, but it will also appear in a massive like blog article cloud for the platform.
mm.
So it will be like, a centralized knowledge base for the whole industry, essentially. And there's so many other things we have the ability to add, but we wanted to deploy this as a minimum viable product, which is, the minimum possible we can put on, which at the same time provides some value for people to join, test it, see how it goes. Um, and then from there, develop it. Um, the other very important thing as well is we want people on the platform to give us their feedback
Yeah.
because yes, it is our brainchild and we love what we're trying to build here. But at the end of the day, we wanted to serve the people that are going to use it. So that is another important aspect. Um, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You could find anything you want on that platform as long as it's related with the music industry, and that's our aim. We've got a very very big vision, and we hope to get there because if we get where we want to get, and actually I shouldn't say if, when we get where we want to get, we want to support the people that maybe are not in a position to support themselves, right? So yes, we will be making some money. Personally, I want to live at the back of this platform because this will allow me to work from anywhere. And if it allows me to work from anywhere, at that point, it means we will have such a big community that we're going to have a voice within the UK's music industry and we will be able to change things. And that is, the first goal that I want to succeed. Now, if I can work from anywhere, I could potentially work from, I don't know, Greece for a week or two and discuss with the people that run the music industry there, see, what their struggles are and see how I can fix that. Or maybe other countries or whatever. And like I said, I'm a dreamer. I've got a very, very big vision, but this is one of the end goals. And then when we get to a point where our revenue is enough to sustain our infrastructure and the salaries of the people that are working onto the platform, the next step is to be able to get a percentage of that revenue to do three things that we have identified so far. So the first one is to give back to charities. So I don't know which charities we're gonna choose. Maybe the Music Venue Trust or the homeless musicians, maybe in Manchester. I don't know. There's so many music related charities we can choose and give some money back into them. So that's one. Second one is we want to be able to either put some money into existing festivals that support up and coming artists because that's important to give grounds to new people that want to come into the industry to demonstrate their work, or build our own festival. And the third one is to try and support grassroots venues. So if a venue is, for example, in danger or at risk of closing, then maybe we can figure out a way to help them with either if it's a monetary thing, that's great. We can probably allocate some funds to back into that, so it goes back into the industry, or in any other way. And then the fourth way, because it's four, not three actually, is to also make competitions between up and coming artists to promote them as well, or give them like giveaways, of promotion or partnerships with labels, what we will be paying, at the back of what we're making. So the whole idea is, yes, people will have to pay to be on the platform, and further down the line, there might be some extra stuff which they can benefit from and make money. So yes, you will be paying to be on the platform, but the idea is that you will be making enough at the back of that so you don't care what you're paying. And then you also know that your money goes back into the industry. Not all of it, but a portion of it goes back into the industry. And that way we can support collectively what's happening into the world of music.
So there's a
So that's a
certain
big
amount of
vision.
altruism. There's a certain amount of altruism which is great, because at the end of the day, if we don't sow seed back into the ground from where we've taken the crops, then we're going to run out of crops, and it's as simple as that. And the time is now. I agree with you. And Ian there, he's just started a new band, Head Creep, and he's been through it all before with other bands, and I think it's fairly safe to say, Ian, that now is probably as bad a time as I've ever seen in the industry. The bands and the music that are out there are better than I've ever seen and heard, but the
Yeah.
scene's dying in its arse.
I think, as you most probably you all know, it's like you've got to pick and choose your battles. No one wants to play in front of one person, but it's it's like you say, it's a venue. You've got to support your venues. You've got to support your artists. You've got to support that. With this platform, what I can see, which I'm quite interested in, I think there's a lot of gifted people out there, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask this, Nikos. So apologies if it comes across wrong, but obviously it's like I'm trying to word this right. Um, there's not a lot of money in the music industry at the moment, and I think you understand that, don't you? So a lot of musicians struggle. How are we going to entice those musicians to join your platform who haven't got that much money? I'm sorry for putting you on the spot like that, but I think it's a question that we've got to ask.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you broke up there. That's why I wasn't
Okay.
replying. But yeah, no. Look, 100%, and you're absolutely right. And that is the reason why we've carefully considered what our pricing is going to be. Okay. Um, like I said earlier, it's going to be, first of all, I want people to be able to make back what they are putting into the platform. Okay. It might not be within the first month you go, on the platform, obviously, but eventually it will be. So the maximum, because there's going to be a tiered approach, right? So the price will start very, very low. So when we go into open beta, which is going to be essentially publicly available, it's going to be like £2 per month. That's it, right?
Okay.
Everyone has got £2. And then as we grow our user base and the demand is, needed, we're gonna get up to a maximum of $9.99. So it's gonna be cheaper than Spotify. We're not gonna be LinkedIn Premium, but that charges you like 30 or 40 per month, I think it is. I can't even remember. We're not gonna be at this level. There's going to be some additional stuff we want to put onto the site, and these might be classed as add-ons. But because there's going to be like, I can't, give you all the
Yeah.
details right now.
I
But
wouldn't
essentially,
expect-
because these two tools are going to be essentially money-making tools for the musicians or the creators or the professionals. These are going to be chargeable essentially on top of the subscription. But we expect people to be able to make back money through the tools themselves. Again, that fee is required for our infrastructure costs. So we have to put it. But what I'm trying to say is that we don't want this to be, a super expensive platform for anyone. And also, if you've got this very nice discount as well, so if you subscribe for a full year, then you get 2 months free. So rather than having to pay, let's say it's 10 per month or $9.99, instead of paying 120, it would be £100 for a full year. So yeah, we want to make it as accessible as possible as well. But like I said, we need to cover the infrastructure cost, and that's the most important thing of all, especially during this period of technology. What we are in, data is very, very large nowadays. So it's very easy with these speeds to upload, a 1 gigabyte internet online. And I know we are all doing it through Facebook very easily sometimes, but the idea is that what people don't know is that when we send a video like that on Facebook, they are being charged for it. And although Facebook is free, they're able to like absorb these costs from all the advertisement we're doing. We have no advertisement on the platform, on
Thank
your
God.
feeds. So if you want to have an ad, there's going to be a page. There's going to be like very, very well hidden onto the platform. That's going to be accessible from just one specific area. If you want to go into that page to have a look for ads or potential offers that we've got with partners that we're going to have in the future, that's on you, and it's going to be strictly on that page. You won't have any other advertisement anywhere else onto the platform, which is another reason why we need the money from the subscription, right?
Yeah, I think the other thing is, Nikos, that somebody once said to me, and it was about something else completely, but anything that's free has no value to most people. They take it, it's a pinch of salt. It doesn't have a value. So I think you're quite right anyway to put some sort of payment in there to cover it, because it is very much needed, and it sounds just like what. Well, I work with bands and have done for a while now, and it's certainly of very interest to me, and it will be to our bands. And it's very much needed, like I say. So I think you're quite right, and even if it is just a minimal payment that nobody would miss, even if it was £5. Let's face it, there's plenty of people doing Patreon sites and paying more than that on Patreon, which at the end of
Yeah.
the day, you're not. Well, it depends what your interest is. It's no great interest to me. So I think from a networking perspective and comparing it to the likes of LinkedIn Professional and all that sort of stuff, it's competitive. So I like that, and I like the whole idea. I like the concept, and I like the fact that, as I say, there's a certain sort of altruism in it as well, which is cool.
Yeah, because look, like I said, I had a band. I was an engineer, right? And throughout all of these years, obviously, I had my challenges. We've been invited to play at gigs, and then when we arrived there, we've been told that the gig had been cancelled. We've played into gigs that they said to us, "Oh, you didn't bring anyone here, so we're not gonna pay you what we agreed. We're gonna pay you like, I don't know, €50 was back then, just for your petrol money." And we were a band of four. We had like lots of equipment with us. We bring everything with us. We had like pre-recorded parts, in-ears, click tracks, all these kind of things. And we just felt like people weren't appreciating it. Equally, when I was a sound engineer, there were occasions where I haven't been paid because people were just didn't want to pay. And that led into conflict and into arguments. And personally, I like to think I'm a very easygoing person, right? But I like to be able to talk myself out of situations rather than just be the, and apologies for swearing, but I don't want to be the dickhead, you know what I mean? I like to speak with people, collaborate, find a solution, like very, very sensibly. So all that is another reason why I think we need this, so we can get people on there. But like I said, it's very passion to be
Mm.
able to be in this industry, do what they do, and help other people.
I,
So
I,
yeah,
I absolutely love the idea. I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah, me too.
I think there's a few good things that could come out of it, and like you said, you don't want to be that person who, like, we've all been there. We've all had to go. And do you know what? I'd tell one of the things that I'd most probably recommend is, if you can do this on your website, is maybe have like, a chat bot or something to speak to a professional 24/7. So even if it's like follow the sun, which I'm sure you'll know about being in IT as well, so you'll get follow the sun support. So if someone is stuck who hasn't been paid by a venue, they can jump online and maybe ask someone for support. Like, if we get music solicitors who read contracts,
Yeah.
because bands don't read contracts, they
yeah,
don't understand. It's jargon. Let's face it. Every band who's done well gets a contract thrown into them. They think they're going to be a big star, and next minute they're struggling. So
yeah,
if you could have something that supports the industry, and like I say, if you can just ask a solicitor a question, ask a sound engineer a question, ask a guitar luthier a question. If there's something that you can maybe support while it's happening, and like give advice,
yeah.
maybe that's something that, like, potentially one for the future. I don't know. This is just my thoughts as well. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, right, there's I already see, I can see some challenges in that. It's not impossible, but obviously, if I was to have a professional all around, I will need a lot of professionals to be employed by me right now, right? And I don't have that kind of money right
No,
now.
no.
Oh,
I think it's an aspirational thing, though, Nikos. I
it
think
is.
it's one of these things to aspire to, and I can see
Yes.
it happening, but we're not expecting it anytime soon. That's what we mean.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But there is an alternative to that, which is the forum function we've got. So the forum functions is exactly for that reason there. You go in there and be like, right, guys, I'm doing this right now and I've got this problem.
Mm,
What can I do to fix it? You know?
mm,
And at this stage where we don't have loads of people on the platform because obviously we just started and we are still building it. If let's say someone comes on the platform and they ask something and we don't have that kind of specialist that can answer that, I will go out there personally and find that person to bring it on the platform. So be sure of that,
mm.
because like I said, we want to provide this value to the people that want to join us in this journey. The other solution we can probably implement further down the line before we go into the actual humans is potentially some kind of AI chat. Um, and I think that's going to blend very nicely to your first point about AI, because I've got a very, very controversial opinion about AI, but not everybody shares. So the way I see it, because I've been in IT as well for all these years, is AI is a tool. Okay, so when we see people use it to copy other people's work, or copy other kind of work for the wrong reasons, let's say so, then these that is a choice. These people are making a choice to use that tool that way, right? There is the other way, which is essentially to use AI for our benefit. And that's what we want to do on the platform. I'm going to raise my hand here, and I'll make a disclaimer that all the forum pictures, the icons I've got, and the achievement icons, they are generated by AI. But that again is because I'm paying everything out of my pocket right now, and I'm on one salary. So I don't have the money to pay a designer to do all that kind of work. But I will make a pledge while we're here live, and I will say that once we get enough money at the back of the platform, then I will hire a designer to redo all that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
That's cool, mate.
So that's a promise. But yeah, coming back into the AI, we want to incorporate that into the platform further down the line, but not in a generative way. We don't want people to go on all the other things and create songs or create images or whatever. We want to use AI, firstly, to be able to find information from the platform quickly, or to be able to match yourself with other people that are, what you're looking for quickly and more targeted as well. Because you might say, yeah, I want a director. Yeah, here's 100 directors. Or you might say, I want a director that has exactly the same style as, I don't know, he's like a modern David Lynch, for example. And then the AI
Or
tries and
Ridley
find
Scott.
who is,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can
something like that.
basically break it down with genre
Yeah.
or heavy guitar, like
Exactly. Or
someone who can mix drums like Nickelback,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
a producer that can do avant-garde progressive rock, I don't know, whatever, and you'll find someone for you and just spit it out. Things that will make networking more efficient, faster, and provide better quality for, again, whoever is on the platform. So these are kind of the ways we want to do it. But because AI is a very new thing overall, we're still exploring that. But yeah, this is the idea so far.
Yeah, it sounds cool, mate. Honestly.
Have we lost you, John? No, you're still there.
No, I'm still there, pal.
So obviously, we're trying to get this up and running and stuff like that. Have you gotten a launch date when the beta is going to become out to everyone, or are we?
Yes. So we've got a target right now. Okay. We started with a private beta, and things on the platform are a bit quiet right now, I will say. But I totally understand that because, people might join, might see that, all right, there's not many people over here. I'm not sure exactly what I need to do. So I want to see some activity on the platform to see more people to be joining and using the features we've got in place. And that is actually happening to a certain degree. We managed to get to a point where we were like, oh, you know what? We had this target for private beta. We hit that target, but we haven't really seen any load on our infrastructure. So which means we've got more infrastructure that we actually needed. So now we are trying to get more people on it, push it a little bit more, and then go into closed beta. Now, when we go into closed beta and everyone's going to have like email invites, we hope that everyone is going to invite at least 3-4 people they know to come onto the platform on average. And that should get us to like 500 people or so, somewhere in between 500 and 1,000 people. So once we've built this core community from the people that we know to the people that they know, and we know that all these people want to be on the platform and they're actively collaborating, that's when we're going to go fully public. And then that stage is going to be the open beta. When we get another 1,000 people in from the open beta, which is going to be the first paid tier, that's when we go out of the open beta to fully publicly launched.
Are you looking to do an app as well,
The idea
Nikos?
is to go on open beta in January, hopefully.
All right,
Okay,
cool.
that's pretty soon then, isn't it? It is pretty soon. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you broke up there and I couldn't hear that.
It is pretty soon.
I mean, it is, but considering we made the announcement on August, and we spend approximately a month and a half into evaluating all these requests that came in for being a member. So we started putting people in, and then we started also contacting people to bring them on the platform. And that has gone actually quite well. We've got like loads of people coming in batches, really. And we've got some but are pending when we still haven't subscribed yet. So we're expecting to hit like the numbers we want for private beta within probably the next 2 weeks. then we'll go into closed beta, but that's when we need to like push it very hard from every aspect. You know what I mean? If you guys have got like 100 contacts you can add, feel free to do it. I'm gonna do the same from my own end, and I'm gonna be reaching out to a lot of people and everything. But the idea is, bring all the nice people that we know they want to be on the platform on there, collaborate, then just go into it. Now, obviously, January is a target. If we don't get to that point by that time, we might delay it a little bit. But I want, when we go public, two things to be in place: a really good community, because that's what matters for what we're building. And the second thing is to have in a lot of features that they're not on the platform yet, but we are going to implement, like stuff for employers to be able to find employees, and an employer could be anything from production company to a band, you know what I mean, but is looking for a guitarist. So we're looking to streamline that on the platform to make it easier for people to find the people they need.
Yeah, that sounds cool, mate. Are you going to get an app as well? Because I only like apps. I don't like bugging about with any. So if I can go into an app and just go click and that's it, that's right up my street.
Yeah, yeah. The app is on our roadmap. We haven't done it yet because it is a little bit costly per month. And like I said, it's just me, from my salary.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when we get when we get very close to the open beta, I believe that's when we're gonna deploy the app for both iOS and Android. We've got the capability, we can do it. It's just the
Cost.
costs behind it, and we want to make sure the case study is correct before we start, bleeding money all around the place. And the other reason as well is obviously that we want the platform to be stable and have no major bugs, because essentially whatever you see on your website, on your browser, it will transfer into the app.
Mm.
In the meantime, though, another reminder for anyone that sees us and uses the platform is that you can still access it from your mobile browser and works fine. And you can create a shortcut both on iOS and Android to have that on your home screen. So it opens as an app, doesn't have exactly the same feel, but you can do everything on your mobile browser.
That's cool. Ian, it's time, mate. It's time.
It's a tough one, this one, like because I'm trying to. I've been thinking about this one for a while now. Like the questions of what to say. Um,
Are you struggling with this one?
I am because it's like so. We normally do a question like a random question at the moment, Nikos. So
Okay.
I, I, you're a drummer at heart, aren't you?
Yes, let's say
Yeah,
so.
a drummer at heart. So I've been looking at different drummers to say who's your best drummer. So I've got a list which I'm building at the
Uh,
moment.
yeah.
So I'm going to ask John cheekily if he can give us another two questions while I'm still pulling together a list, because you've got a random taste in music where it's like picking some of the drummers that I have to pick. I'm thinking maybe, maybe not. Does it fall in the genre? So if you can give
Okay.
me another couple of minutes, and then
It's
I think
it's it's called Winner Stays On, mate. And normally it's quite easy because whoever we're talking to them. They're either a guitarist or a singer or a
Yeah.
manager. So we pick either or's. So he's gonna be working on that just now. So in the meantime, if I ask a question I would like to ask is, what's the main? So since you moved to the UK, what do you think of did you come here with an idea of what you thought the UK scene would be like strength wise? And has it lived up to that, or is it totally different to what you expected?
Uh, hmm. That is a very difficult question because, um, right. So I think it's a very difficult question because it's very personal and it links directly with the life I had back in Greece, right? Outside of my family, which they're great and I love them so much and I miss them every day. Um, the experience I had in the music scene in Greece was like terribly poor.
Mm,
Coming into the UK overall, I had a really good experience. I felt like I met with great people. that were actually caring about the other person, and they were able to, work very nicely with you and then help you out as well if you needed to. There's been occasions where I've seen people that are not as collaborative and they have been a little bit negative, let's say so. I must say as well, I have also experienced, thankfully, just once, a case where I believe the band I was working with as a sound engineer were a bit racist against me. But so I've seen that as well happening. Not a great experience, but you know what? It's something you live, you get what you want to get out of this. Just put that back in your mind, and that's it. You just continue and you perform your journey. Overall, I think the scene was very strong when I came here. Obviously, because I was so aligned to the Greek music scene, I didn't know about a lot of the issues that I uncovered as I was, moving my way through the music industry in the UK. And obviously, then we had COVID. So a lot of things changed. But overall, I think at the core of the music industry in the UK, we've got such a nice bunch of people that actually want to do the work. They love what they're doing. And they need to be rewarded for that in terms of fairness in work equality, in benefits, in behavior, in respect, all these kind of things. I'm also part of the Back to Sound Engineering Union, and I know about issues that are happening all around us, and maybe people don't outside the industry don't see them. So there's a lot of things that I can improve, and there's steps that are happening to get to that point. But in that process, a lot of people, are burning out and they're leaving the industry. They're either engineers or musicians or whatever. And yeah, I mean, and in terms of music, I've seen so many amazing bands, either in tours supporting other people or at gigs I've gone and I accidentally seen an opener that I didn't know, and they were playing as if they were headlining, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And all these people have got the same issues. They can't promote their music greatly. They need a lot of money. The labels are draining them. Spotify doesn't pay them back. It's exactly the same issues. Venues get a cut from merchandise. Oh my God, that was ridiculous
That
when I
winds
first
me up.
came in. So
That really winds me up. That's something that I don't understand
I know.
why a venue would ask for money for something
Because
that
they're
is not
thieving,
used.
greedy bastards, that's why.
No, but it's not their property. I
Mm.
could
Yes,
understand
exactly.
if it's you're advertising. I've got to be careful on what I say, i.e., a venue on it, and it's stating that. But obviously, I've seen a couple of venues, festivals even doing it. I can understand if a festival is offering you a someone to sell your merch for you, and you
Yeah.
agree with that, that's fine. I totally understand that. But if someone's just saying you can't sell your merch without taking a profit, I'm sorry, I disagree with it. So.
And
I
I
100%
will
agree with
repeat
that.
what I said. It's because they're greedy, thieving bastards. So just in case you missed that, that's exactly what you are. If you're watching this, stop it.
Yeah, 100%. Um, the idea we have is that, look, you're selling that into our premises. We're giving you our premises to sell your merchandise. However, you're not there to sell merchandise, you're there to play.
Mm.
So you could sell your merchandise anywhere. It could be outside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that does for me that argument is not valid. But yeah, it's a yeah. Overall, I think the musicians are getting drained in a way they shouldn't be. And again, that is another reason why we're building this platform, because when people to be able to collaborate directly with people without any middlemans and or middlemen, actually, to say. My Greek kind of here does came out here, wrong grammar. But yeah, with not any middlemen essentially, and just be able to absorb as much as they can from what they make. That is the
That's
idea,
Bill. That's Bill, mate. That's Bill. Were there yet, Ian, or we need another question?
I've got 7, so I'm up to 7. 7 drummers. Winner
Okay.
stays on. Bear with me. There might be some tricky ones. There may be some where you'll go, Don't know, not sure. So
But you
with
still
a
got to
stage,
pick Nikos. This is a pressure point. This is where he breaks everybody we ever interview, right?
yeah,
Okay.
And we've seen people act so head implode that they had to make a choice. So you do actually have to make a choice. There's no, oh, they're the same, right? Or you just get binned off.
All right. I'll pick one, yeah?
that's yeah. So you've just got to pick one out of each one.
There's
So with a
rounds.
stage, right?
Okay.
Mitch Mitchell from the Hendrix Experience,
Yeah.
obviously legendary, versus John Bonham from Led
Oh,
Zeppelin.
Straight away.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say John Bonham in this case because, yeah.
John Bonham. Okay, Neil Peart from the legendary Rush, or John Bonham.
Oh, Neil Peart.
Neil Peart. Okay,
I knew you go that
so
way. It's prog. He's a prog man.
he is. He
Yeah.
is. So uh, Neil Peart or Bill Bruford from Yes.
Neil Peart.
Okay, Neil Peart or Nick Mason from Pink Floyd.
Oh, it's difficult.
I love that.
Uh,
Oh.
uh, drummer wise, Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Neil Peart or
Yeah.
your last one, Chris Maitland from Porcupine Tree.
Well, if you said Gavin Harrison, I would say Gavin Harrison, but now I'll say Neil Peart.
Neil Peart or Gavin Harrison.
Gavin Harrison, there you go.
You fed that to yourself there, Nikos.
I see into the future.
Well, honestly, he's had people really, absolutely. It was like watching an exorcism, trying to get them to make a decision between a band and another band. It's been brilliant. That's why I said I hope you're ready, big man.
That was a great one. Thank you very much for that.
No, Nikos, like I say, I would love to support this adventure of yours. I think it's got so much potential, and we would we would be proud to support it with the Scouser and the Scot as much as we can, and we'll try and get as much people to buy into it and share. We'll share your page, we'll share the love. We'll click all the links down below, guys. So make sure when you watch it, check it out, subscribe to it, and like I say, share the love because we need to get the music industry back into where it needs to be, and the only way we can do that is
Can I add something before you? Because I
please
understand you want to close now. I want to add one tiny bit.
go for it.
The platform right now, like I mentioned a couple of times on this call, is being funded directly from myself. So there's no investors or anything in it. And we're trying to. So there's two ways you can do this. One is bootstrap it, which essentially is like fund it yourself, or head and search for venture capital, which is investments essentially. We want to try and avoid having investors in,
Yeah,
right? Because the more investors come in, the less money will go back into the music industry, first of all. And secondly, they're going to have an opinion on the platform. And if they're going to have an opinion on the platform, the investors, their opinions are about money. They're not
Yeah,
about the music and
100%.
everything, right? So we're trying to bootstrap this and fund it all ourselves. Well, myself. Um, So every kind of support we can get is very important because we want to build a community what is a community. We build it and we want it to work for the people that are on the community. If we've got a lot of investors or the investors have got a significant amount of the company, then we won't be able to shape it as the community wants. And that is another principle. We've got a very strong ethos. We want everyone to be, working for the people of the community on that platform. And that's why I'm showing my face as well. I mean, it's not like it's something that it's like Facebook or Instagram. It's like faceless. There's someone there that's working behind that for hours every day. And, that person and the other guys on the team, Matt and Elliot, they're also working on this like very, very hard. So all of us, we're trying to make this the place to be for the music industry and support the industry from within, essentially.
That's brilliant,
no,
mate.
and like I say, mate, if there is anything we can do to help you and support you along your journey, please shout out. Even if you want to come back on again when you're further down the line and you're ready to release something new or do like give us an update on the progress, we'll have you back on. We'll have you back on. We'll support you as much as we can, and I'll make sure I do a little bit more digging on some more drummers for you as well that I can put you on the
Our
spot.
sound
Maybe I'll change
engineers,
the
our sound engineers.
prog rock bands.
There
Yeah,
you go.
so
It will be
I'll
a pleasure.
but yeah, so thank you very much, Nikos. It's been an amazing interview. So really appreciate it, and good luck with your venture, mate. So John, over to you, mate.
Right, listen, guys and gals, when you're listening to this podcast or watching the podcast, then these are the kind of people that we're bringing to your attention because we believe that they are doing good things. So all you need to do is tell your friends about the Scouser and the Scot. Get them to subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed yourself, get it bloody done now because this is the kind of thing you're going to hear all the time. People at Nikos. So subscribe. And until the next time, keep it rock and roll.